G'day, welcome back. So we are now into session 18 of Oxygen Not Included. Alright, so I think the big questions answered last time were that what we want to do is we want to go up here and we want to unselect everything. So what should now happen is someone will wander in there and they'll take the lava eggs. Oh no, the lava eggs have already come out. So the lava eggs are now happy because they're not inside the storage bin. Problem solved there. And I don't have an order to go and pick him up, so we can just leave him be. Now with this one as well, it was anything should be fine in there. Any sort of liquid, so probably liquid that comes through my water sieve, I'd imagine will be what I sort of send there. But then I guess when water's coming out of it, it'll be hot, so I need to what do you call it in there? Insulated liquid pipe to try and take care of that temperature. And the other thing pointed out is that I probably should really get this going sooner rather than later. I did point out as well that produces carbon dioxide. So what I could do is put that up here. And then that could actually do the job of producing this carbon dioxide down here, which isn't too bad an idea. I quite like it. So, let's have a look at expanding out this room. What I could do is possibly build that up here, behind maybe an airlock, and then put a vent in the floor that'll allow it to push down. Let's explore that option. The other thing I realized I didn't do in the last one, again, was I still haven't addressed a table for May and Turner, because they didn't seem to share tables once we had them on split shifts. So I guess it is something that we still just need to do. So let's push this up 5, because we do want a floor here. I do wonder if I need something else in the room with this, so be a bit of a small area for what I'm building, but it's alright. We've got that polluted water. We can probably, if need be, we could always pump that down into our polluted water section here. I do definitely need to knock this wall out soon to allow the polluted water to have that whole area to take care of. And obviously, at the moment, there's a problem with that because so much, I've got this just running down. So what I potentially should do is just build a lock sort of somewhere up here. Or what I could do is just dig out that ice, I suppose. That I'm not relying on that, but I suppose this could probably get up to about here, or I can even dig out the top section of this. And what we'll do is we will make the order to dig that all out now. The other suggestion was that I should start that there's a certain amount of load that those wires can take at any one time, and so what I need to do is start looking at more heavy duty wiring. So definitely once I've got that coal generator in, I will look to shift to that. Now, one person also mentioned that I should possibly have a look at the oxygen going on in Stinky's room. It's looking okay. But I mean, there is definitely no flow in there, so just looking out for Stinky and his airflow. We'll make that 1 square airflow to allow him to have some sort of movement of air in his empty little room. Let's have a look at our eggs down here. 17% incubation is where they're at. It was also suggested that I could probably algae in here as well, since it's what all my air is based on. Doing alright there, Stinky? Not sure if I've got too much. What's that? Abyssal be a new thing I'm working with here. Now let's just turn off. Disable that for now. So I realize that if I make that an airway vent, that will then push air up. So we probably want to leave that be at this particular moment. And that is chlorine air there. So we don't necessarily want to dig through to that. So what we'll do is we will dig out these. So it's got a double diamond on it, I hope. Good. Ellie can do that too. Thank you, Ellie. Okay, so what we'll do now is we will build a tile there and a tile there. A simple question here. I think I'm pretty certain of the answer, but there's no way to move these, is there? I can't just ask them to relocate masterpieces. So sort of just having a central section where they worked on these isn't the way to do it. I should actually be putting them somewhere and then having them construct from that point. Pretty sure that's probably what I should have done, but I only realize that now after they're done. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll put that corner piece in there, because what that'll mean is that the chlorine can't get out of that area because it's already blocked off the 2 squares, even though I don't need that bottom square. So I have done it a few times where that split second of it not being there has meant it's got through. What do we got in there? It's carbon dioxide. Well, the air up here is not great. And the air above it isn't too ideal. Okay, so the next thing that we will do then is might build that as an airflow tile, but leave the other block sitting on top of it for now, just so that the airflow tile is in place, but the actual airflow won't be there yet. Just make a line across the top there too. Oh, we can have something else come through here. Falls asleep periodically does not seem good. I was thinking as well that my setup is very simplistic in terms of the food that I'm using, and I guess sort of few of the other parts, the electricity that I'm using. So I'm not. I really should just stop at the 8 people I've got. I think trying to get any more than that could be a bit disastrous because it's not too much the amount of people that I have that it's in any way limiting what I'm doing. And having more would just mean that I'm using more food, using more more of everything that wouldn't be great. Now, I do want to point out as well that I did make that sync yesterday, and I did leave it multi-directional. After I finished playing, I did think about that and thought, oh, I'll have to address that. And none of the comments picked up on it, so it's slipping a little bit. Not to say that I'm expecting anyone to look at my my levels with that sort of detail. Good to know that I didn't have anyone just suddenly pick up on that one. Now, I assume that that roof's possibly too high for where they can get to, so we'll build them 2 little ladders to help them address it. Someone said as well that I need 12 squares in order for these guys to be happy. Means that this will have to dig out further. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it'll be out to here. Certainly got no issues with that. The only problem is that there's now currently so that room is full of carbon dioxide. But may as well get it addressed now. 1, 2, 3. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. So we'll we can just for those ones say yeah, I know how you feel, Ellie. Definitely. I imagine that I'm getting a bit of carbon dioxide sort of pushing through, but what should happen then is that it'll just push all the way down to down here. And I'm actually a bit lean on carbon dioxide in that section now. It does seem like these guys, the eggs that I'm making here are actually going to be beneficial just for getting rid of carbon dioxide out of my base. Now, another question with these eggs, is there... I've built the critter feeder, but I can't seem to see whatever these guys are in here, what they called slicksters or something. I can't see them in there. Is there anything that I actually need in this room beyond just carbon dioxide that they all want in order to survive? Or are they going to just be happy? I don't think that vent's actually right. I think that what I should do is build this ladder up to this room on that side, get rid of the ladder from here, and so that the only way to get into that is to go into the critter section and the carbon dioxide. I think that makes sense. So let's build that there. We'll deconstruct that because it also does save us an air vent. But during the construction phase, it will allow them to just be out in the oxygen. Some good coal and other things in that room too. So I might just... Oh, actually, cancel that. I don't want the eggs being collected. That incubation's moving along at not too quick a spot. I would imagine that we're not going to see those eggs hatch for at least another two episodes, probably. I think what we might do here... Maybe what I should do is dig a little ditch just here. So if we go 4x4, and then we'll sit him just in the bottom of that ditch, and then we'll just sweep the rest of this water up to get dropped off up there. Now, I haven't made more tables here, but my current thought is that my research department is almost done. If you have a look, currently working on this and then this section here, and then the only other remaining things we have is those ones there. So, my thought process is that once that's done, I don't need either of these two stations. Once I can do that, I can knock out this wall, that wall, this ladder, and then I can just extend out my mess hall. Is my thinking correct there? Once the research is all done, I don't need that to keep the research station for anything. Another quick question there that you should be able to confirm for me. I assume I don't. And so I think that's possibly more just a declaration of this is what I'm about to do when I do reach that point. But if I am wrong, certainly let me know. Okay. So this is now built, so what we will do is we'll order the deconstruction of those. We will order the moving of the debris that's in that room. We will deconstruct that coal generator. And then we'll soon build our generator up there. Let's just have a quick read about this while it is still there. Overheat temperature is 75 degrees Celsius. Now I'm putting it in a 30-degree room. I guess that's a good question of should I be actually putting some something in there to cool it. I can see that these guys do eat a whole bunch of stuff, and they excrete polluted dirt. So, these guys here, should I move them, like try and collect them and move them into my polluted water? Sort of continuing source, or just leave them where they are? Should I build something up here that uses this water as my coolant? Oh no, sorry, I'm mixing up my things. This needs coolant. Okay, so let's remember where our I assume the generator. We'll put it back here. So we'll eventually block that off, so it won't be at the very back of the room. It'll be almost right next to it. Oh, and of course, I've now lost the ability to wander down into this section, so we'll give them a ladder. If I'd help the temperature of these guys if I put more insulated tile sort of just down here and block off there, if this sort of exposure to the rocks is affecting that, or if it's just sort of it's just too hot over there. Either way, we could test it out, I suppose. Get that out of there since it's the only thing standing on that end. Now let's decorate Stinky's room a little bit. What do we think he would like? It's too big to have a portrait. Get a blank canvas fit in there, no. can give him a sculpture. I do feel I've probably got to extend out my showers a bit more too, like whether showers are overly that important, whether they sort of do help the decor. And obviously it does improve morale. And obviously not spreading germs is good. So I wonder if I should have a few more showers available. So Stinky straight in there to use it, but I assume if one person's using it, then it means everyone else can't. So I don't know if they're just rotating on a sort of over 4 days or whatnot that they all get to have a shower. Okay, good work. So what we'll now do is we will now let's just enable the building for a moment, because we should be able to pump some of the stuff that's in there, save us having to move it by hand. So we'll just wait till it stops. We can mop the liquid spills of that. Our oxygen generation is probably not too bad. Eventually we might have to put in another diffuser bit. Let's see. Okay, so our coal generator is now up there and ready to roll. So what we'll now do is get our cabling. So we want our not run through wall and floor tile. Okay. So we'll have to hold for a second because it's going to have to go through that spot there. I do wonder about the way to approach this, that if I do need to start to divide up my my wiring. What we'll do first is we'll just start off with having this build. I can't go through the door either. Or is it just that it can't because alright, let's get because there's already wiring there, so let's get rid of the power wires. These guys. Guess we'll go back to there just to make sure that this is all I'm doing this right. Okay. So now that one's gone, before we lose any more of it, let's just double check. No, I can't go through. That's annoying. So that would mean that the coal generator can't sit on the outside of a an area like that. So what we might do then is we'll go that way. We'll rebuild that one piece of wire. We will cancel. What we might have to do is just sort of dig out a little gap here for that to sort of hook it around. We might even send it further up. So what we'll do is we'll build a... No, let's cancel that. What we'll do is we will dig out two we'll send it high. So what it'll do is it can go up and down. Which actually should mean that I want that closer to this way because I want another carbon dioxide that's going to stay near the ground anyway, so hopefully it'll find its way down the ladder as opposed to working its way all the way up and around. Cool, so he's now done his job, so we can deconstruct him. We can ask for this to all be moved. Like someone was already on point in moving away all the liquid, which is good. Now we will deconstruct the power wires that exist between here and there, and we'll deconstruct the liquid pipes that exist between those 2 points as well. I wouldn't mind getting rid of this ladder too, but the question would be, do you deconstruct a ladder from the bottom and sort of like step by step tell them to work their way up? And because the pump over here exists on that level, I'm going to put 2 blocks there because I don't want liquid be able to sit lower than where the pump is. So we're just going to fill in that gap. Fertilizer. It's quite nice. What do you think, Stinky? Stinky's impression when he goes in there. So maybe the sound doesn't reverberate off it as much. Okay, and we'll ask for the debris from down here to be collected and moved to storage. Very strange that the water just sits on top of it and isn't considered polluted, like they don't just dilute amongst each other. Okay, so the next thing that we can build is we want our liquid pump. Put him down here, and then we will get our plumbing all the way over, down, and then we also need our power to do the same thing. Now who's the poor person that's going to get the job that has to remove this algae from that wall? Now, I do wonder if what I should do is try and remodel my bedrooms. I mean, quite possibly what I could do is move one of these cots just out of here and ask Maida to make a lovely statue in the middle of the room. Improve the niceness of that room. Alright, well I can see that that guy's now growing back there, so possibly this has done the job of cooling down that area. Oh, we're off and running. Let's disable that because apparently connected to nothing. In fact, the only thing we'll be doing is currently just generating carbon dioxide into my base. So, now what we want to do is we want to deconstruct that square right there. Power use is something that we do want to start to keep an eye on. Disable that guy as well. We don't need him running just yet. We can just let him sort of collect some more water. It's quite funny the journey that this thing goes to get a pipe up here when we could probably just have it sort of swing up nice and quick. Now we will wait for the things down here to be collected before we break this open. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll now build a long slender tile wall. No. Let's cancel that because that could get confusing for the guys that need to build it. What we need to build first is going to be heavy watt wiring that runs all the way up. So basically the attempt here is that, yeah, the carbon dioxide will the very last resort will go all the way up and over the wall and come back down. And if it does it, I just realized as well that's going to be outside of my airlocks anyway. And if it does it, it's going to be, I guess, in this area, but we're going to have to work out a way to get that to pass through that section as well. That sounds like a problem for another day. Up, not in liquid. Right, address that soon enough. We still haven't addressed that. We've still got our coolant that we'll have to pump through there. This looks to lava. Right, so how would I pick him? That's, I assume, what I want, because then I can go put him in that other room. But how do I get him dropped off up here? So I assume I can't say, I can only say critter egg. Can't say critter themselves. What would they be in? Food? Bit of drop off. That's what we want, I guess. Okay, so what we can also do now is we can say deconstruct that tile. I currently have that pump turned off, so no air should be pushing through in here, although I think that vent is still full. And what we will do is we will say deconstruct that piece of the bridge. We're just going to say that one on its own at this point, just so that we can have the rest of the ladder to stand on before we get rid of it. I know these guys are working as a team to not pick up these few things here, just so that no one draws the short straw. Yeah, I might have to give up on this this airlock here and build it further north. That water's getting quite low. Get over there. Something using a high demand of water that I'm missing? So we might have to quickly get over here. Address that, I suppose. There's a lot of ice over here though, so I can imagine that I could get this ice and snow and move it to somewhere where it more likely grow. Okay, so if we go critter, is there lava? How do I move this guy? Slickster. It feels like I'm putting a whole bunch of critter things in for something that just isn't actually a critter. Because I guess he's what, not food, so it doesn't count him as a... Yeah, I'm not too sure. What I might do is I'll just deconstruct those and we'll just throw this back to the question before those lava eggs hatch in probably 1 or 2 episodes. What am I missing? What's the what things do I need to put in there to make these guys happy, if anything? Do they need food? And if it's still there come the start of the next one, how do I get this slickster lava from there to that room? I suppose I could build down this way too. Get thingy in here. That's carbon dioxide in there, so it's not too big a deal. It does seem like going that way is going to be easier because then I can just attach it to that piping. That might be a mission for another day at least. We're looking up here. Alright, great. So that wall is done. And we can just ask them to build our wiring all the way down here. But this will be the last night of this particular session. Again, thanks for watching. So yeah, thanks if as well if you've got answers to the questions. Whereas I've still got to continue working on my oxygen mask dock that I just started to build there and then haven't gone back to, but I guess there's still just that's something I'm just experimenting with, whereas this other stuff that I'm doing is actually currently issues that we're addressing. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you later. See ya.